Nobody talks about how when you finally put your foot down and stop tolerating disrespect, you're not rewarded with the kinds of friendships you've always wanted. You are rewarded with silence. 2 years ago, I cut off my family and a lot of my friends because I started to notice that I was wrapped up in these toxic cycles. The first person I said fuck no to was my mother. My mother, the person who forced me to have an abortion or else I had to get the fuck out of her house. My mother, who knows that I watched my boyfriend be shot in the head and told me never to talk about it in her house. My mother is ground zero for making me feel like my emotional needs are unimportant. So after I went through an abusive relationship and got out of it, and she told me, don't talk to me about him, I will never say a bad word about that man, she is the first person I tried to have a conversation with, to reason with, which is funny to think about in retrospect. And when she was unwilling to hear my humanity, I cut her off. I didn't have beef with all of the rest of my family, but since they sided with her, I lost them too. So be it. And then I noticed that it wasn't just my mom and it wasn't just my abusive ex, it was a lot of my friendships too, so I let them go too. And I grieved these losses, and I may always grieve these losses, but that doesn't mean my choice was wrong. There was no having these people in my life and feeling like I had worth too. When I started to look for new connections, it really surprised me to find that many of those new connections are already out of my life too. I used to be surrounded by people, I was very close to my family, and I had a big group of friends, but now I have standards. I need to be treated with gentleness by the people in my life. Every conversation I have with myself is a conversation with one of my inner children, some version of myself from the time I was born through 25 years old when my frontal lobe fully developed. I'm going to talk to those girls gently, so I expect the same from my connections, and it's the same that I give to people in my life. And when I notice that the people who I invite into my life are not giving me that same gentleness that I am giving myself and them, they have to go. And when I notice that people are jealous, stealing my ideas, acting shady and shifty, they have to go. Because I used to excuse that behavior in my old life. And you might think, wow, you sure are cutting off a lot of people. Yes, because I'm learning that you don't go from getting rid of the wrong types of people to boom, here are the right ones. You go from letting go of the wrong types of people to practicing discernment and trusting that with patience, the right kind will come in. It took years to develop some of these relationships that I let go of. Why would I expect brand new ones to appear within 6 months to a year? While that time has been lonely, I am grateful for some of the connections that are just starting to bud now that I'm about 2 years in. There are a few. And I hold on to that statement that I heard once on TikTok that you haven't even met all the people yet who are going to love you. And I know that to be true. But in the meantime, I will keep on gently loving up on my inner children and being grateful for the kind connections that I do make along the way, even if all of them aren't meant to go the distance. And though there are times now where I might feel isolated or lonely, it still runs laps around being a doormat for every fucking person in my life. I will never go back to that again.